I want to look with you at something that I was talking with a woman out of New York City, and she was asking for prayer for her relatives who were on the brink of losing their jobs. And so I told her I would pray for them, that they would make the right decision in what they were dealing with. And she said, "Oh, by the way, have you heard about COP26? Well, in my mind, I'm going back to when I was a child watching a television program called Adam 12. And I'm thinking in my mind, COP26, I said to her, well, what is that? Well, she sent me a few links to a website at Advent Messenger. Again, I can't say enough how much I appreciate and am grateful for the work that Andy Roman is doing at adventmessenger.org. If you want to go there, friends, you will find a load of information. You know, I have so many people who will, Seventh-day Adventists, who will call me and say, "Brother, I just can't understand why the denomination is going along with what is going on today." And I'll respond to them and I'll say, well, there's about 72 million reasons why. And they, you know, I can hear almost the phone drop on the other end, and they say, 72 million reasons? I say, yeah, because that's how much money entities within the Adventist Church received from the federal government through the Payment Protection Program. $72 million, friend. So there's a reason why the denomination has embraced the agenda that is being hoisted on America and the world today. And there's 72 million reasons why. Well, so again, go back. Andy Roman at Advent Messenger has so many good articles on current events. And this is one of them as it relates to COP26. Well, the first question you would ask, and I asked, was, well, what in the world is COP26? Well, this is what it is. October 4th, now today is October 2nd, so that's 2 days from now. 2 days, friend. The Vatican will organize a first-of-its-kind collaboration between multiple faith leaders across all major religions. The goal for this unprecedented meeting is to build momentum in preparation for the 2021 United Nations Climate Change Conference, also known as COP26, which is scheduled to take place from November 1 to November 12. Religious leaders will meet in Rome on October 4, 2021, to prepare a collective action in response to the universal threat of climate change. So what did that paragraph just say? Well, 2 days from now, folks, the Vatican has organized a meeting which will be held this Monday, and religious leaders from all major religions will gather in Rome. They will discuss and prepare some kind of a formal statement that will then be read at the meeting, the Climate Change Conference, which will be held November 1 to November 12. Now, friends, whenever all major religions are involved in something, and they're involved in it with the Vatican, well, immediately my tentacles go up. Because you know, and I know, that somewhere down towards the end of Earth's history, according to Revelation chapter 17, Babylon the Great, which represents the papal power, and her harlot daughters will join together in a conspiracy. Because as we've learned, Webster's dictionary says a conspiracy is when you have two or more groups gathered together for a sinister purpose. Well, friends, in Revelation 17 and 18, we have Babylon the Great in verse 2, the great whore. We have the mother, she's the mother of harlot daughters. That represents the apostate Protestant churches. And then, of course, we have the merchants mentioned in Revelation 18, verses 11 to 15. And we have the kings of the earth in Revelation 17 and verse 2. So truly, we do have a conspiracy, according to Webster's. Now, you can throw Webster's out and say, oh, well, you know, Noah Webster's dictionary is a bunch of garbage, and he didn't know what he was talking about. Well, if you take that position, you're going to have a hard time supporting that. And a conspiracy is when you have two or more groups gathered together for a sinister purpose. And Revelation 17 says that Babylon the Great, Rome, the Vatican, and her harlot daughters would play a huge role in end-time events. So when I see something like this going on, I'm going, well, this is very important in the light of end-time Bible prophecy. So that's why we're looking at it this morning. Cody?
I just want to say one more thing on the whole idea of conspiracy. What do you hear people say when they're trying to beat down people that are talking about the things that are going on right now? They call them conspiracy theorists, right?
Sure.
Well, can you be a Bible-believing Christian and not believe in a conspiracy? No.
You can't.
You're not a Christian, or you don't hold a Christian belief if you do not believe what Revelation says, period. And the Apostle Paul said it again in Acts. He said he devoted 3 years of his ministry with tears, he said, warning people about the wolves in sheep's clothing that would come in after he's gone.
Absolutely, Cody. Cody, you make an excellent point, and I want to re-stress it, that Revelation 17 and 18 are so clear that if somebody claims to be a Bible-believing Christian, they have to believe in a conspiracy. They have to. The two go together. So that's a great point you're making.
It's not a theory for a Christian.
Cody just said, a conspiracy is not a theory. It's a fact. It's a biblical truth. That's what conspiracy is. It's a biblical truth. So, we have the Vatican leaders from all major religions putting together a statement showing their feelings about climate control. And that paper that they are preparing on Monday will then be shared at COP26, or the Climate Change Conference put on by the United Nations in Glasgow, Scotland, the 1st of November of this year. The October 4 event is called Faith and Science Towards COP26 and is sponsored by the Vatican, Italy, and the United Kingdom. Politics and religion will converge in the Vatican to find solutions to the climate crisis that they plan to share during COP26. And the Vatican made the following announcements. We'll look at that announcement momentarily. Something I'd like to broach with you as we get into this program right now. Folk, when was it the purpose of the church? When was it the church's goal to become a part of climate change? When did that become the focus and the purpose for the existence of the church? Well, I'm not getting any answers nor any hands. And that's exactly right. That is not the purpose of the church. The church's purpose is to share the three angels' messages, to seek to save souls from the controlling power of sin in their life. That's the purpose of the church. So the fact now that religion is entering into a saving of the planet, folk, there's something wrong with that picture already. This is completely out of the realm of where the church is supposed to be. Now, another point that I think needs to be brought out. We mentioned Rome. We mentioned the apostate Protestants, the harlot daughters from Revelation 17:5. Is Seventh-day Adventism today a major religion? Yes, it is. Friend, I will guarantee you that there will be a Seventh-day Adventist representative at these meetings. And probably it will be Gwanoon Diop. So again, folk, it's not just the Catholic and apostate Protestant churches that have lost their focus on the mission for why we are here. But Seventh-day Adventism has as well. Cody?
I just want to mention one thing, just because in my studies it's come up a lot, and you just mentioned it, this unnatural relationship between religion and politics, where religion is adopting the policies, practices, and issues of politics and vice versa. This is what the Bible calls, this is literally what the Bible calls fornication.
Absolutely.
This is church and state mixing together. This is what we're warned about in chapter after chapter after chapter throughout the whole Bible, but especially in Revelation.
Absolutely.
Fornication with the kings of the earth. And that's literally what Rome is doing right now. And she's bringing the other churches, her harlot daughters, with her. We're seeing right before our very eyes the major players that we were warned about. They're stacking up, they're getting in position.
Absolutely, Cody. Revelation 13 is very clear about that. Revelation 14, of course, Revelation 17, Revelation 18, all discuss, and that's why we're discussing it here today, friends. Because the Bible, the book of Revelation, is very clear that there would be a conglomerate of religious entities down at the end of time who would use their influence to push government to enforce and to sustain her ideas and her doctrines. Now, we'll get on that more later. What are some keys about this COP26? COP26, well, here's some ideas for you. There are going to be at least 200 world leaders at this meeting in Glasgow. And an estimated 36,000 delegates could be set to attend. The key goal of COP26 is to keep a temperature rise limit of 1.5 degrees within reach. Otherwise, the ecological consequences would be catastrophic. There's just 9 years left to limit the worst consequences of the climate crisis before the destruction becomes irreversible. Now, folks, the fact that there are some problems, some very serious problems within our climate, within nature, there's no question. But folk, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself while I'm reading this slide, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Why is religion, why are they getting involved in the climate and what is affecting our planet? Folk, the major industrial leaders of our planet should be meeting in Glasgow. And they should have been meeting there 50, 60, 70 years ago. Because that's where the responsibility for this lies. It's with the people that are destroying our planet through toxic waste, through chemicals that they are putting off in the air constantly. That's what's destroying our planet. But religion is taking a huge role in this situation. So, COP26, it's an annual climate summit convened by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, a climate body of the UN. COP stands for Conference of the Parties. So COP, Conference of the Parties, meaning a gathering of countries. And 2021 will be the 26th time that it's taken place. Hence, COP26. So why haven't things improved? Why are we still discussing climate change? Why, friends? When it all comes down to, again, will industrial nations grab this by the horns and demand that business comes within the realms of making sure they're not destroying the climate. They're not destroying our world. But they're not doing it. So they've created a problem. They've created a problem. And now the religions of the world are going to come forward with a solution. So what we have here, friends, we have the Hegelian dialectic. They create a problem. Now they're going to bring forward their solution. Here's the Hegelian dialectic. Cody?
I was going to say that, that's exactly right. That's exactly correct. The reason why, to answer your question, the reason why they haven't been able to come up with an answer is because humanity has not come up to the answer that Rome wants us to have as the answer.
Absolutely.
When we do that, then the problem will be, quote unquote, solved.
Cody, that's a great point. When the world finally realizes the problem and what the solution is, which is what Rome wants, then they will have what they want. Folk, for the last 5-6 years, Pope Francis has already laid out in Laudato Si, which is his encyclical on climate change. He has laid out clearly his solution to the problem. And it probably won't surprise any of you what his solution is. It's called, in order to save our planet, we need to take out one day of the week in order to turn off all the engines and turn off all the businesses that are creating all these pollutants. That's what Francis's solution is. And it's right there in Laudato Si. A lot is riding on COP26. We know that in order to limit the warming of the Earth to 1.5 C's at a maximum, the international community and major and historical emitters need to bring highly ambitious plans. Jake Woodier stated, the UK as host needs to play an active role in ensuring this takes place through climate diplomacy, while also providing an example to the world by implementing ambitious and visionary green measures at home. Helen Clarkson, who is CEO of the Climate Group, an international nonprofit, told CNBC that COP26 was a crucial moment in the fight against climate change. Friends, make no mistake, when you hear the phrase climate change, what you are hearing is Sunday. Because that is Francis's solution to the climate change we're seeing. That's his solution, friend. Well, who's going to be there on October 4, this coming Monday? We read this: the Vatican will organize a first-of-its-kind collaboration between multiple faith leaders across all major religions. The goal for this unprecedented meeting is to build momentum in preparation for the 2021 United Nations Climate Change Conference, also known as COP26, which is scheduled to take place November 1 to November 12. Religious leaders will meet in Rome on October 4 to prepare a collective action in response to the universal threat of climate change. Well, folk, all the major religions, they've been coming to the Vatican for decades as the ecumenical movement has continued to gather momentum. So for them to gather at the Vatican again, that's just a common occurrence. A common occurrence. What is the purpose of the church, friends? We touched on that a few moments ago. Is the purpose of the church to get out and go to these meetings and make statements? Friends, that's not the purpose of the church. The goal of the church is to present the everlasting gospel of Revelation chapter 14. That is the purpose of the church. Where is their joint statement making an urgent call to end abortion? Have you heard the churches of the world gather to make a joint response to the issue of abortion? Of course not. Of course not. And millions of unborn children are being killed. Where is the church in that, friend? What about this gender ideology, the destruction of the biblical family? Do you hear the church gathering to make statements about that? Of course not. Because they want the family destroyed. Not everybody, but a lot of the leaders do, friends. The preaching of the gospel, the call to defend biblical values that are being destroyed by today's society. Are they having meetings about that? No, they're not. But about climate change, that is none of their business at all, really, they're going to make a joint statement, friends. The churches have lost complete sight of their mission in this world. Instead, they openly promote spiritualism, pantheism, the veneration of Mother Earth, paganism, and the popular and globalist message of the ecological catastrophe looming on our planet. And why, friends? Why are they making this so pronounced? The climate change, the ecological catastrophe that's looming? It's serious, friend, sure. But friend, it's not the material for the church. It's for businesses and people that are making the billions of dollars, for them to step back and say, our industries are destroying the planet. The meeting scheduled for October 4 will be held in Rome. This will be with all the major religious faiths represented. Will Gwenoon Diop be there? They stated, we have invited nearly 40 leaders from the world's major religions, 10 leading scientists. It was key to have representatives of most major faiths and denominations from every corner of the world. And Jesus said, all power is given to me in heaven and earth. Go ye therefore and set up plans to stop climate change. Is that what he said? No, he didn't say that, friends. He didn't say that. Cody?
You know what's scary about all of this stuff? Is that the world is ready for this. On a carnal level, you're a multi-billionaire with an industry that's destroying the environment, and the solution is to be shut down one day. I'll take it. That's the solution? That's all I got to do? All right. For the rest of the civilian population, one day guaranteed off a week, that's fine. And if we learned anything from the past couple years, in this country alone, never mind the rest of the world, we will do this. We will do what they tell us.
Absolutely, Cody. Absolutely. You know, as I've watched this and thought about what is being planned by these leaders, it reminded me of a passage in Jeremiah chapter 17. Jeremiah chapter 17. The Bible says, starting with verse 7, blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord. These men are not trusting in the Lord and doing what the Lord has called them to do. They've got their own agenda because they have the solution waiting in the wings. And as Cody just so clearly brought out, the world and the churches are ready for it. They're ready for it, friends. Verse 9, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. So what can the carnal heart produce, friends? Deception, wickedness, evil. And that is exactly what this is leading to. You say, oh, but Bill, they're trying to save the planet. Yes, they are, but they've got a hidden agenda behind it, friends, as Pope Francis has already told us. He has his own hidden agenda. The Vatican says there's been a remarkable convergence of views. All the faiths and belief systems see nature as sacred, and our duty as being to protect the environment. Is that why we're here, friends? Is that why we're here? to counteract something we have absolutely no control over? No. But what Francis has done, what the Vatican is hoisting on the churches, and they're embracing it, is that nature is sacred. What? Nature isn't sacred. God is sacred. But nature is not sacred. Friends, whenever somebody takes a position that goes to an extreme, as the Vatican is here in this climate change, they're going to that extreme because they have a plan. There's a plan, friends. There's a plan. Now, the Bible is clear in Revelation 11, verse 18. The nations were angry, thy wrath is come, the time of the dead, that they should be judged, that thou shouldest give reward to thy servants, the prophets, to the saints, them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. We're not advocating destroying the earth, friends. We want to take care of this earth. This is the home that God gave to us. So are we to protect and take care of this earth that God has given to us? Absolutely we should. We shouldn't be throwing bottles and garbage, strewing it all over the place to make the earth filthy and disgusting. Within our sphere, friends, we do all we can to protect the earth. But to say the earth is sacred? No, it's not sacred, friend. God alone is sacred. So we're overstressing. The Vatican is overstressing a thought here, friends. We don't harm the earth, as Revelation 11 warns, but to hold it sacred? This veneration of Mother Earth as sacred reveals another agenda. Something looms in the background as they use this agenda for something sinister. This is taking this climate change to an extreme position which completely distorts the mission of the church. What should God's people be doing today? What is our purpose in this world? Jesus said, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." That's the purpose of the church, friends. That's the purpose. Baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I'm with you always, even to the end of the world. That's what the church is here for, friends. To go into all the world and preach the message. Well, we've mentioned before that Francis has an agenda with his climate change. And that is why this is becoming so important and so critical for the Vatican. Why they are involving themselves in this. And all the other religions of the world. Babylon the Great and her harlot daughters have chosen their agenda to push forward now their solution. From Laudato Si, the essence of the climate change agenda. Here it is, friends. Point 237 in Francis's encyclical. He says, on Sunday, our participation in the Eucharist has special importance. Sunday, like the Jewish Sabbath, is meant to be a day which heals our relationships with God, with ourselves, with others, and with the world. Here it is, friend. Sunday is the answer to heal our relationship with planet Earth. Sunday is the day of the resurrection, the first day of the new creation, whose first fruits are the Lord's risen humanity. The pledge of the final transfiguration of all created reality. It also proclaims man's eternal rest in God. In this way, Christian spirituality incorporates the value of relaxation and festivity. We tend to demean contemplative rest as something unproductive and unnecessary. But this is to do away with the very thing which is most important about work, its meaning. We are called to include in our work a dimension of receptivity and gratuity, which is quite different from mere inactivity. So how do we heal our planet? How do we save our planet? We do it through Sunday rest. Sunday rest, friends. So what Francis has done, and all the religions of the world are doing, is they have brought together two concepts. They brought together the destruction of this planet with Sunday. With Sunday. Now, friends, here's another statement from Francis's encyclical, point 237 again. He says, rest opens our eyes to the larger picture and gives us renewed sensitivity to the rights of others. The day of rest sheds its light on the whole week, motivates us to greater concern for nature and the poor. There's no question, friend, what Francis's solution is to climate change. We'll just have to watch and see how far Francis is allowed to take his agenda into COP26. We'll have to wait and watch, friends, and see. I'm just so thankful today that in the book Great Controversy, none of this should come as a surprise. None of this should come as a surprise. Because Ellen White said that at the end of time, the devil and his agents would combine the destruction of nature and a Sunday law. Notice what she says. Great Controversy, 589 and 590. While appearing to the children of men as a great physician who can heal all their maladies, he will bring disease and disaster until populous cities are reduced to ruin and desolation. In accidents and calamities by sea and by land, in great conflagrations, first tornadoes, terrific hailstorms, tempests, floods, cyclones, tidal waves, earthquakes. In every place and in 1,000 forms, Satan is exercising his power because God has allowed him to. He sweeps away the ripening harvest, famine and distress follow. We continually are told, well, all those things are happening because of climate change. No, they're not. They're happening because God is allowing the devil to do those things. And he's more than happy to do it. These visitations are to become more and more frequent and disastrous. So there you have it, the destruction of the climate. All these terrible catastrophes. And then, what will the great deceiver tell the people of this earth through his agents? Then the great deceiver will persuade men that those who serve God are causing these evils. The class that had provoked the displeasure of heaven will charge all their troubles upon those whose obedience to God's commandments is a perpetual reproof to transgressors. It will be declared that men are offending God by the violation of the Sunday Sabbath. That this sin has brought calamities which will not cease until Sunday observance shall be strictly enforced. And that those who present the claims of the fourth commandment, thus destroying reverence for Sunday, are troublers of the people, preventing their restoration to divine favor and temporal prosperity. The accusation urged of old against the servant of God will be repeated upon grounds equally well established. When Ahab said to Elijah, "Aren't you the one causing the trouble?" And Elijah said, "I'm not the one causing the trouble, but you and your father's house, in that ye have forsaken the commandments of the Lord and has followed Balaam." Friends, praise God this morning for the entire volume of the Great Controversy that pinpoints and shows clearly the devil wreaking havoc on this planet as God allows. And then the devil's agents will say, the solution to this is the Sunday. You have it in the Great Controversy. You have it in Laudato Si. I wonder why there's so many efforts to destroy this incredible book, The Great Controversy.